Well, good evening, everyone. It is still on the West Coast here, and we're kind of spread out. But I'm Dr. Jordan Smith, and I'd like to welcome you to our team's presentation, which will be presented by Angela Johnson, also Juan Marquez, Karen Brown, and Zara Razi. We are the team members, and we're kind of spread out a little bit over the US here. So on today's agenda, real quick and simple, we're going to give an introduction. Then we're going to walk you through a journey and a path based on our experiences out in the field and also inside our classrooms. We will go ahead and share ideas about mentors in our lifetime, student-student relationships, and also teachers as a mentor to their students, and also what we have actually learned from a teacher to teacher experience. This is where we're located in our lovely United States of America. Juan, I guess, is over by Texas. I'm in California.
I'm
Zara's
in
very
California
close to
too.
me.
I
I'm in
just put my
California.
picture in the wrong spot.
Yeah. Oh, you're in California too, Angela.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just put my picture in the wrong spot.
Well, then we might as well call this the California team. No, no, no. But we need our team members from Texas and also Karen. I believe Karen's also in California as well, right? Okay, but that's where our team, that team is kind of dispersed here through the United States, and we love each area, but each of our communities brings a different experience, and that's what we want to kind of share our experience with you. First, we're going to go ahead and talk about today's presentation is really about mentorship. So I'd like to take a couple of moments and actually think real closely about this question. First of all, what is mentorship and why is it so important? So, do any of the team members would like to share exactly what do you think mentorship is?
I can go. Mentorship is like grabbing somebody under your wing and provide support and guidance when needed, and especially believe in that person. You can do it. I believe in yourself. You should believe in yourself.
Excellent. Angela?
Uh, Basically, I had an example to tell everybody about my mentor, which is my aunt. She basically uh, graduated from college, but her dream job was to work for IBM. But she initially worked for J.C. Penney's as a buyer, and she would go to job fairs and talk to different IBM people. And she finally met someone who said, we don't have anything, but I like your personality, and I'd love to stay in touch. And so she got a business card from him, and every 2 months for 4 years she would call him and ask, do they have a job? And 4 years later he called her and said, I have the right job for you. And as I grew up, she told me that I should never, let someone tell you no, that you have to be persistent. If it's something you want, definitely keep trying.
Excellent. Excellent. Anyone else?
I can share from my own experience. When I think of mentorship, the word guidance comes to my mind. And for me, that person has been my mom. I've learned resilience from her and being persistent in a positive way, and being a lifelong learner. I feel like that's something I have witnessed it growing up, and that has been instilled in me as well.
Excellent. Excellent. For myself, mentorship kind of goes back over my work experience. It was actually two areas. One was the first when I was in the Marine Corps. Leadership was kind of tied into mentorship, but also when I was at the Naval Academy, mentorship was important. We had a group of midshipmen that were actually mentoring us one on one to kind of help you. The same thing when I became a teacher. That's what kind of got me more enthused about it was that we all had to go through our indoctrination training, and each area is different. But that time again, you had somebody that was a mentor. And then for myself, when I had done 10 years, and then I got blessed and got sent to the continuation school, which was a hidden secret. Um, I actually had a mentor there, and her name was Karen Lee. And matter of fact, if she had not been in my life at that time point, I probably would have left teaching. So mentors is something that I actually learned through. my experience in the Marines, but also as in teaching. So we all have somebody that's a mentor, and it does make an impact. So now let's go ahead and shift. We're going to go student to student, and I believe we have.
Yeah, that's me. Um, so the student-to-student mentoring is not a new idea, and there's many colleges and universities that actually use it, including UCLA and Berkeley, Harvard, Stanford. And the key here is that the goal is to put learning in the hands of the learner, and that's going to help with that retrieval practice. Right, you're practicing what you've been doing, so the student as teacher results in the students are becoming co-creators of their knowledge rather than just passive consumers of it. It's going to have that, and that piece there is that metacognitive, right? They're practicing it, so they're thinking about their thinking. And then with engagement, it will engage them as well as the students that they're working with or their peers that they're working with. And it allows them to debug as they're going through it. So they're talking that piece out loud, and a lot of times there's that aha moment as you verbalize. You're reaching another area of understanding, and it builds that confidence and identity of being a computer science person if they are able to speak the language and help others. Not only is that confidence within themselves, but now they're seeing themselves as a computer science person, and that brings in that social belonging too. So it builds that confidence and competence. It also elevates the marginalized voices better than large groups typically.
Thank you. Next up.
And then this was my last slide here. But putting students in the teacher role gives them that opportunity to verbalize their understanding. And at my school site, I am a TK8. And so not only do we have mentoring in the class with middle to middle, but my big program has been middle to elementary school. And so in doing this, the elementary students are getting that near peer relatability. They're not as intimidated, right? Like coming into a big middle school classroom, right? They're getting to work with a lot of times their relatives, cousins, or brothers or sisters. And then it opens up that mindset is they see the people that similarly aged, not that much older, but that they can do it. I can do it too. Like I can be at that point. And of course, it brings in the earlier CS exposure, computer science exposure that is really important in California. And there was several $1 million of it that ended the grant in 2025 that was trying to get more computer science into the elementary program. For my middle schoolers, what it does is it brings in more of that deeper mastery. They're having to create the stations that they're using and then teach it and teach it without doing, which I think is another level of understanding to be able to talk somebody through it. And now a lot of times my students are seeing themselves as leaders rather than just somebody who got stuck in a class. They're in that leader role. And of course, increasing their public speaking skills. And an unintended a positive out of this has been the empathy and debugging rather than just being, like, it didn't work and I give up and I can't do it. It's, let's see if I can help you look through the problem. And then they recognize too that the power of going back and double checking things and looking with a fine tooth comb. So.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, yes, Juan.
Yes, thank you, Go. So on my end, what I created is an after-school program and a summer camp free for the students. Well, free for the students, not my students. And what this happened is why this happened because when I moved from elementary, middle school to high school, I saw that the other resources are for high school students, but there's a very little resources and computer science connections with the elementary and middle schools. So that's when I decided to do something about it and we make that connection. So in collaboration with Apple, I was able to create an after school program for the middle schoolers, the feeder school that is really close to us. And my students are facilitating sessions for the middle school students. And here is where they provide equity access to computer science. So when we managed to close that gap, we help them not only to be exposed to computer science, but also to other careers. So that's what I decided to train the trainer, if you may say so. So my high schooler students, I train them, I tell them how to facilitate these sessions, and then they go and facilitate the sessions with the middle schoolers. And in this summer, I'm very happy to share with you that we are going to have again similar situation, but for STEM summer camp for 1 week for the elementary kids, but for fourth graders and fourth and fifth graders, which I'm super excited. I'm super happy because now, last year for summer camp, the district, I needed the support from the district, and they gave me the green light like in May 12th, and like the school year ends in May 21st, something like that. And I was like, I have to get the people and the teachers and everything, right? And now I reached out in February. Hey, are we on for this summer? Oh, and last year I reached out since October. I reached out in February and they said, yeah, let's go. Like very next day, they're like, oh my gosh, so I'm very, very happy. Now I'm inviting more high school students and they're very engaged. And the program is growing. I'm very excited to share all this. And, especially the most exciting part is that I'm giving my high school students the opportunity to learn the other side of the desk, the other side of the coin so they can work, collaborate among each other to test things, to practice delivery, and understand why we can only, right now we're with 15 kids, even though we have 30 iPads, only 15 or 18 kids, because it's too much. And so I'm very, very excited to be part of this program where I mentor these kids and these kids help younger kids. So that's us, that's learning together. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. There it is.
Okay, so the peer mentorship model we have been implementing at my school site, which is a middle school 6th through 8th grade level, is with the goal of expanding CS exposure and access for all students across the campus. And this is stemmed from the problem that we were experiencing because we have about 800, 900 students in 7th and 8th grade combined. And out of those almost 900 students, only 50 of them were able to take a CS elective class during the whole school year because computer science is offered as an elective class, and I am the only one who teaches computer science. And I only have 2 sections because I teach math the rest of the time. So I thought to myself, you know what, this is not fair to students because now we are putting computer science access based on schedule, not necessarily choice or interest. And I understand that because of the limited resources that we had within our scheduling, this was causing the problem. And on top of that, the students who would have to take an intervention class for language arts or math, this would take the place of their elective. So what we did in order to address this problem, we built a mentorship model within my computer science classroom where I co-designed computer science lessons with my students because I really wanted to add a strong leadership aspect to this mentorship program. So we co-designed computer science lessons, and I train my students to go out to other classrooms and develop and implement these lessons. In the latest example that I can share with you, which is still happening, we started it last week and we're gonna go till the end of this week. Students and I created an AI lesson where students learn what AI is, how it works, kind of demystifying AI for them. And from there, they build an AI model. And we have been able to go to cover actually about 300 something, like teaching about 360 students what AI is and how to build an AI model using either machine learning for kids or Google Teachable Machine. And I found this to be an effective model to at least get students exposed to computing concepts for them to see if they are interested in the topic or not. Because by the time they go to high school, it is better if they have a vision on what direction they want to go, so that way they can go explore it further at the high school level. And I am very proud of this program that we have built because we have been able to train mentors who become role models, who develop leadership skills. And on top of that, we are able to really expand that access and exposure to computer science education.
So this is mine, and I'm looking at teacher as a mentor, kind of bounced off of what I said earlier, how I learned. Um, I've taught computer science a few years now, and when I try to keep the whole class together, there are students that kind of drop off because they don't have zero background in computer science, and you have some that have more background, and so you have that's in most classes, but for computer science, some kids they'll get disinterested if they see other people moving faster than them. So what I did was in the last couple of years, as I tried the self-paced model, where those who know what they have their deadlines. Everybody know when things are due, but at the same time, that frees me up a little bit. We do have mentoring, but a lot of students don't like to have other students know where they are. So they'll come sit with me and we'll talk about anything else, and then we'll start talking about computer science. And it really helps those students that are struggling because I can really spend more time with them, and they can, they feel more confident. What I found over the time. Plus, I can target the feedback, and I can lecture, or really I don't lecture, but I could bring up different topics and have people, that I feel like everybody may have in trouble with. Um, and then it have advancements for students who are not struggling. So what I'll do is give them challenges when they say they're done. I say, hey, why don't you add this or that to it, or you don't have enough error messages in there. What happens if I do this to the program? So it gives them an opportunity to start thinking about the what ifs as they go along. Uh, and so that's pretty much how we do the program. I try my best to help everyone, of course, but I found that it definitely increases the struggling students. And at the end of the day, we want them to like computer science and not feel like it's math or English. We want to make it fun for them. And so by doing one-on-one, and even I make mistakes. Sometimes I make mistakes on purpose so that they see anyone could be doing that.
That was inadvertently. Here's my
No,
mouse.
that's no problem.
Okay,
I was
okay.
pretty much finished. But yeah, again, instead of lecturing to the whole class, I act as a mentor, and I don't walk around. I let them come to me, so that they, don't feel like I'm looking over their shoulder and pushing them. I want them to feel comfortable walking to me and sitting next to me.
I'm glad that you shared that because it kind of reminded me of what happens at the continuation school. when students are actually coming. So thus far in the presentation, we really went to examine and share our experience of what was happening in the classroom, whether it was elementary or middle school, or the mentoring from the high school down to the middle school, or really how teachers are effectively helping students which may be struggling by actually getting one-on-one time with the students to assist them in their engagement and learning of computer science. Uh, my portion is going to go from the top down, and the reason is because when I when I was teaching in the continuation school, and again, the continuation school is probably the last place that you would think of having a computer science course, and that was changed. And part of that has been because of the Amazon Future Engineer program. But my approach was going from the top down. In other words, I realized that I needed to talk to who controlled the money. If you wanted to get something in the classroom, you really needed to do that. And that was from my viewpoint. So it was my mentor, Karen Lee, that got me to step outside of my classroom. My first 10 years, I was a classroom teacher and I only paid attention to my students in my classroom. But if you really want to have an impact, you need to get out of that box and out. And she convinced me to go and work for free. Working for free meant that I was going to volunteer for different committees at the district level. And I had no idea why she wanted me to do that, but now I do. It was giving me exposure so that board members would know who I was, or the cabinet would know who I was, so that when I was coming to present radical ideas, they would be open to listening. So through that experience, that's how we were able to bring AP Computer Science principles and AP Computer Science A to a continuation school where students not only took the course, but also passed and actually passed the AP exam itself. That was being open and wide. As a result of that, doing because of my environment and involvement with the um, AFE, I expanded that. So one way I did it was through this. The California Continuation Education Association is an organization that oversees and has impact over 443 schools through the state of California. So I was able to uh, uh, actively participate in that organization with the idea of infiltration. And then I wind up giving presentations about math, but I integrated the computer science, exposed them to the Amazon Future Engineer Scholarship Program, and started opening their eyes on that. So I combined math, and like I just come back from Burbank, my sessions were on math, but integrated AI and talked about computer science as another path for them to be using. Um, the other thing is that I became a WAS chairperson. And as a WAS chairperson, I'm able to speak with the school board, the cabinet, the community members in the community, and I was able to ask questions in a unique situation that I normally could not do. But at the same time, by being in that position, I was able to expose and actually draw interest on computer science at a district level so that it could go down into the actual organizations. Likewise, it was important to maintain that relationship with a continuation school. This is the school that I actually was at the last 10 years that did the first AP class for a continuation school. It wasn't just for the continuation school. It wound up being the first AP course that was in the school district and the whole Riverside County Office of Education at the time point. But the main idea was to understand teacher mentorship is retention work, okay? It's equity work, but it's more than that. It's also community restoration from the top. Then was also important to have teacher to teacher mentorship. I retired in 2024, but my relationship still continues with that school because I felt I took on a personal obligation that I needed to mentor the teacher that was replacing me. A lot of times we may go from one place to the other and we're gone. In this case, it was important that I established that because I made sure before I was leaving that there was another teacher already qualified so that what I started would not stop. And that's part of that teacher-teacher relationship. So I am in communication with this teacher who took over the AP computer science programs at Mountain View, and it has expanded to not just one school, but now two schools. But this is about moving away from isolation into collaboration. This teacher also has been helping other teachers in other schools in our alternative and continuation environment to actually help them get there as well. So, and the last thing was trying to get to the best. Inside the CCEA, they have model schools, which are their top schools, which are in different communities. I participated in that program so that I can actually, again, talk to administrators and teachers, which are in the top performing schools in the continuation atmosphere. And the main reason also was that the students that I've had in my first AP course were students that would never have had the opportunity for a computer science course in a continuation school. As a matter of fact, they never would have had the opportunity in the traditional school. So it was important to find out that guess what? Computer science is here for all of our students and not just the chosen few. So it actually defeated the myth that this isn't for me because computer science opportunities are there for each one of our students, and AI is even more important as this. So mentorship is how we rebuild belief within our students and also our community and also in our future. Our presentation has gone over thus far the following. We went over through self-paced learning supports. We've seen individual growth, whether it was peer to peer or high school to middle school, elementary to middle. It was through different levels. So we found in our experience that mentoring happens at multiple levels. In fact, it's critical that it must happen at multiple levels. It can't just start in one spot. Okay. It needs to be spread out. And team building strengthens the community. If you reach out in the community for those other resources, you can provide other resources which are there. As a matter of fact, Amazon was a resource that was in our backyard. I just didn't know it existed until another teacher actually sent me an email. If it wasn't for that email, our school will have never been exposed, never heard about the Amazon Future Engineer program or computer science. As a matter of fact, right now, computer science is in our district because the traditional school did not want to be outdone by a continuation school doing computer science classes. So they now have five sections. So in the period of 3 years, we had zero sessions of sections for computer science, and now we actually have five. But the main thing has always been for myself, and I think my team members will agree, is that we got involved with teaching and also computer science. And I know for myself, is that it was because of the students. I wanted to give my students the opportunity to have a better life. And that meant opening up the doors. And sometimes it meant being told no. But as we learned for each of us, we didn't just take that no. We kept going and asking until we found a solution. Each one of the team members here on our presentation have been dedicated to helping students learn. But more importantly, that I've seen here in the short time of discussion with our team members is that they're doing it for a reason. They have their why. And this is why we're doing this. With this opening up to questions. Any questions that we have?
What do you all think goes into sustainability for those who have started something new? I mean, Jordan shared so much about how you're sustaining it beyond your time, but I'm curious if others have thoughts about sustainability. We have one more guest coming in now.
Yes, I would like to speak to that because I am right now in that position myself as well, where I am moving from my school to another school within the same district. So what is very important for me is to keep that legacy alive. And when I talk about legacy, I'm not talking about me personally, but the legacy of the program and the impact that has been created throughout the campus where I am right now. So to keep it sustainable, definitely that mentorship model can help with sustainability, because if I mentor other colleagues here at my school site to come in and fill in the spot, then this is going to continue, right? This is going to be a sustainable program. And I feel like definitely to keep this sustainable, that adult to adult mentorship, and also adult to student and student to student mentorship, it all work as a system to build that legacy and sustainability.
I think for my school, the continuation is because the elementary teachers have enjoyed it so much and their students, that now it's like an expectation part. So when I have another teacher that's going to be joining the STEM program, she's already said, like, how am I going to get involved in this? You know, what can I do? And I'm like, there's so much more that can be accomplished in it. So I think part of it, at least at my level, the middle schoolers love mentoring the younger students. The teachers of the younger students love having their kids come in. So it's just, it feeds that fire and expectation to keep going with it.
On my end, I believe I'm trying to get other teachers, recruit some teachers. Right now in middle school, I'm working already with another teacher and I'm inviting her to the computer science world. And actually, I had a student, Amazon Feature Engineer Ambassador, coming to my school. He talked to my students and I took him to the middle school. And this teacher, she's doing CTE, the middle school, and I'm like, trying to invite her to be part of this project. And also, I'm starting to see which other teachers in my campus wants to participate in the after school program, because this is not only computer science, right? It's tech apps, how to use in an engaging way technology. And if they want computer science, right now on my campus, I have 6 preps. I teach six subjects. I'm the only computer science teacher, but I'm working with other teachers in other campuses. And that's where I got some teachers for the summer camp, right? So I'm trying to push this initiative. So I don't want to be like, oh, if Juan or Mr. Smith or whoever is not there, it doesn't work. No, I don't want that. I want That's why I did this with my high school students, so the high school students can do with another teacher. Hey, Mr. Marquez is doing this. Why don't we do this or the other? So that's what I want to do. Actually, my students want, Mr. Marquez, can we do 2 days a week now instead of 1 day a week? I'm like, okay, okay. What do you want to do? So I'm helping them, right? Take ownership so they can do it without me, and I'm just like facilitating the connections or the paperwork that needs to be behind, right? That they don't know. So that's what I'm trying to do, is slowly, because a lot of teachers are afraid of technology. So they're afraid of it. They don't want to teach it. So I have to show them, hey, you can do this. But especially, I want to get involved more with elementary teachers. So I'm hoping that I can do this STEM program after school in elementary, because I want those elementary teachers to be involved in technology, not only computer science. So I'm in those steps, but it has been a little bit difficult to recruit or find those passionate teachers. I hope that answered the question.
For us at my school, we're starting to try to look at the younger kids, because in order for us to grow, we need to have word of mouth, having students say they want this class, they want that class. Right now at my school, we have two computer science classes. I teach them both, and we had a computer science program. The teacher retired, and that goes along with not keeping the program going, because we went 2 years without any computer science being taught until I volunteered to start it up again. And so I definitely want to do things to help us keep this going, whether I'm here or not. And so we're going to start talking to other computer science teachers in my district, but also doing some computer science mentoring to elementary and middle school students as well, to get the teachers involved at that level as well.
I
I
just
like
wanted
that.
to add something that kind both Juan and Angela said that kind of inspired me, made me think of it. So because of my mentoring program with the elementary teachers are actually coming to me asking if they can borrow some of the equipment to, incorporate something into their room, which I think Juan had said, like encouraging other teachers who may be more timid with teaching, that works, right? So that kind of increases the sustainability of the program. And then in the middle school level, the other content areas, if the kids are in STEM, the kids will go to the teacher and say, hey, can I make a project that will include like this piece of coding? And the teacher will be like, I don't know what you're doing. And they're like, but it's okay because I do, right? And so it's allowing the students to bring it into other areas too. So I think that's another piece that allows the program to continue whether or not the teacher starting the program is still around.
I'd like to just share one other thing. There was one thing that's just come out of the conference that I just went to, um, was that the subject came up to be chronic absenteeism. That wound up being a real hot point because I had an experiment where I had the teachers to look up their chronic absenteeism rates, and then we converted that and changed that into the amount of dollars that the school was losing. And then we actually discussed about how instead of arm's length away from AI or computer science, I said that what if I told you that there was a way to use automation and computer science in order to reduce your chronic absenteeism rate? Guess what? All ears were open from administrators. So sometimes is that in order to make progress or to open the doors or to change their mindset, is that you need to understand who your audience is and then understand the pain points for that audience and then provide a solution to that with computer science. And then you'll find out all of a sudden someone who wasn't willing to listen, now all of a sudden they change their ideas.
Well, thank you all. What a tremendous presentation and just body of work you were sharing this evening. We're so appreciative.